Greetings, seekers. It's Brooke from BrookeReadsTarot.com, coming to you from always beautiful Jim Thorpe, Pennsylvania. This is your tarot outlook for the week beginning Sunday, August 21st, 2022. There is always the possibility of profanity when I open my mouth, so my content is not intended for young audiences. Before I shuffle up, I will kindly ask you to like, share, and subscribe on whichever platform you are joining me from. And if you enjoy our time together, please visit BrookeReadsTarot.com to book a session of your own, as well as to see an inclusive list of sites where my weekly outlooks are uploaded. Comments on my videos are always turned off because I refuse to grant access to our beautiful atmosphere to low energy beings. So I invite you to sit with me and take a little time for yourself as I ask the cards what we need to know for the week upcoming. For these outlooks, I like to turn cards for past or present as well as future. That way I can see if we have any previous or currently unfolding events that are influencing the week's happenings. If you find nothing in this session that seems to apply to you, know that the tarot considers no news to be good news, so keep listening to your intuition. But I do hope you'll stay with me to see if there is a relevant little tidbit for someone that you love. So get yourself settled and say hello to my guide and doorkeeper, Fergus. I'm going to take a few breaths and open the channel. Mother Goddess, Father God, guides, guardians, ancestors, please be with me now as I have need of your knowledge of all things, past, present, and future, on behalf of those experiencing this transmission in a timely fashion. Please grant that I am the perfect channel. Please grant that I am the perfect receiver. Please grant that I am the perfect interpreter of your wisdom as it shows itself in my cards. Fergus, please open the door to any and all benevolent, loving beings and our own dearly departed who would like to contribute truthful, accurate, relevant information to this session. And lastly, please bring me to the level you need me to be so that I may serve both the living and the dead. And so it is. There, now, I'm going to shuffle and cut 3 times. And I'm going to lay 5 cards indicating past and present influence. And then I will lay a second row of 5 cards that we hope will speak about the future of the week upcoming and show us the other things that we need to know. This is shuffle and cut number 2 and shuffle and cut number 3. Alrighty. So let me just take these future cards and pull them down and let us focus on the things that have already transpired or that are currently unfolding that are going to influence the cards that are coming for this upcoming week. So we've got a little bit of money to talk about. The King of Pentacles, first of all, when court cards come up for me, so why don't we just go ahead and do this first, because we may have a couple of people who are trying to make themselves known here. When court cards come up for me, meaning kings, queens, knights, and knaves or pages, depending on your deck if you read for yourself. I like to see if they are our own dearly departed coming through to be recognized and to remind us that they love us and that they never leave us. So I will ask you if you recognize the King of Pentacles, which would have indicated a mature male that had an autumn birthday. A mature male, dearly departed, who had an autumn birthday. If you recognize who that is, just say hello, I love you, and I miss you. And then we come over here to the King of Wands, very same. We acknowledge kings as mature males, and for me that means usually 40 and up, certainly over the age of 35 if they are a rare case of maturity. But anyway, this King of Wands, this may be a dearly departed who is coming through, a man who had a springtime birthday. Do you recognize your dearly departed? Mature male who had a springtime birthday. Welcome, welcome to both of you that are joining us. And let's come over here to the Knight of Wands. Now, when knights come up, if we are being introduced to a dearly departed, these will be males or females between the ages of 18 and 35 or 40. Like I said, that 35, 40-year range, there's a whole lot of life experience and maturity that can happen in that 5-year span. So I like to stay a little flexible when it comes to that particular aspect. But this will have been a person 18 to 35-ish with a springtime birthday. So if you recognize that dearly departed, say hello, I love you, I miss you, and thank you for joining us. So I'm just going to take those court cards and put them over here. And depending on where we get with these two cards that are showing the past issues or the present things that are currently unfolding, we may come back to those court cards and see if they flesh out these two other cards. So, which I do think so. I think I want to pull this King of Pentacles back in because we are going to talk about the Eight of Pentacles. Now, the Eight of Pentacles for me is always the card of the self-employed or someone who works in a relatively solitary environment. This is not the card of someone who makes their living out and about in the public. This is someone who will have a fairly solitary, quiet or autonomous work area. And this can also, on top of being someone who's self-employed, this can indicate that you have a side gig, a hobby or a skill that seriously has the ability to turn some cash. So in the past couple of years, we've had a lot of talk, and I think I said this in last week's reading, with folks who are finding they're dissatisfied with their work, and they're just really tired of everybody's nonsense. You know, what little peace and quiet you may have gotten when we all came home from COVID really gave us some time to think. So, yeah, take a look at what you do for hobbies, what you're good at, where you put your creative focus, are things that you just really, really enjoy doing. And maybe you've got a side gig here. Or you may find yourself longing for a quieter, perhaps more structured work environment, maybe where you can call some of your own shots or not have a boss breathing down your neck. All right. So that may be perfectly possible for you if we bring back in this King of Pentacles, who shows us that we have the capacity to have mastery over our material house. Again, Pentacles being the house of the job and the real estate and the money and all of the physical stuff. So if it's self-employment that you're looking for, if it is a side gig that you are looking to turn into an added stream of revenue, you are going to have to own and dominate your house of money. Get that together, alrighty? And let's come over here to the Four of Cups. Okay, so the Four of Cups can say to me that you are sincerely perhaps having some dissatisfaction with your job if you are doing it in a large environment and you are just seeking some peace, all right? The Four of Cups reads one of two ways, depending on which end of this you find yourself on. This can be a complete refusal to accept more of what you've already decided you've had enough of. The figure in this card, he's got his arms crossed. He's like, nope, nope, you're handing that cup to me and I'm absolutely not going to take it. All right, so this may indicate your dissatisfaction with your job, which is fine. But also, too, the other end of this could mean that you are so focused on what isn't going right or what you don't have, that the thing that you really want is being offered right under your nose. And because that isn't where you're looking, you can't see it. Okay? So that paints a pretty interesting picture. Are you enjoying what you're doing? Are you enjoying what you're doing? Because if you want to shift it, I'm going to come back here to this King of Wands and Knight of Wands, because they are showing me that you have some room to grow in regards to how you expend your physical energy. You have room to mature here related to how you expend your physical energy. When I have court cards that come through next to each other, when they are of the same suit, that shows a journey of maturity and life experience for me. So this Knight of Wands, Knights are what they sound like in the tarot for me. They are forward moving, sometimes pretty aggressive energies that ride into the uncharted territory concerning the house that they represent, and in this case, Wands. So the Knight of Wands says that you may find yourself undertaking some new tasks, turning your energy into some brand new areas, some brand new avenues, some brand new travels. And that is a good thing. That is a good thing. Now, the other thing we have to remember about Knights is that they are as equipped as anybody can be to ride into that uncharted territory. So give yourself a little credit for the wisdom and the experience and the resources that you already have under your belt. Knights also have the faith that what they don't have or what they don't know, they will procure along the journey, all right? Now, that journey ultimately winds up with the King of Wands, showing us dominion and mastery, focus and discipline over where we spend our physical energy. So that growth path is there for you, should you choose to take it. Marvelous, marvelous. That sounds like a whole bunch of stuff influencing this reading for this coming week that can help get you to where you want to go. Now, I'm going to come to the cards for the future of this week, and I'm going to start right in with this pentacle here, this Nine of Pentacles. Usually this card comes up for the ladies in regards to finances, but I'll leave it out there to interpretation because this energy and the picture that it paints is pretty darn descriptive. So I'll do it from the female point of view. If you feel like it applies to yourself, groovy, go for it. So the Nine of Pentacles to me is the card of the self-made woman. She doesn't owe anybody shit. Okay, she's made it on her own. She's made the investment in herself, and the work and the planning and the trust in herself has borne tremendous fruit. Whenever I see ripe fruit or ripe grapes in any of my cards, this is always the produce of the seeds we have planted and the gardens that we have so carefully and lovingly tended. So the investments that you've made in yourself, the ways in which you have put your money to work for you smarter and harder. All right, this can be the investments that you made in your education and your job skills, whatever it is that supports your ability to earn materials, to gain materials. This is a wonderful card that speaks about your potential financial outcomes here. All right, this Nine of Pentacles, she has her own home. All right, she has a beautiful garden. She has beautiful clothing. She has everything that she wants, and She is very much at peace with all of it. She even has money for some really bougie hobbies. Like she's got a falcon. Who the fuck has a falcon these days? I'm actually jealous of people who do. They're fascinating. But anyway, so this bodes really well for the potential of your earning power and your ability to feather your own nest. Lovely. I love that card. So, okay. All right, let's come in here and read some difficulties. We might be having some interpersonal drama. When we've got someone who is self-serving and up to no good, these two cards almost always come up together. So let's start with the Seven of Wands. The Seven of Wands, for me, is almost always the card of the shit disturber. This is a person that gets everybody cranked up and tries to recruit them to their point of view in order to support their own narrative, in order to cover their misdeeds, in order to shift the blame onto someone who doesn't deserve it. Okay? The Seven of Wands can indicate a leader that does not deserve to be there, management that divides and separates and inflames its employees instead of bringing everyone together in a team. This is someone who benefits from from everyone else having a toxic environment, all right? This is someone who benefits from the toxic environment that they have created because it allows them to manipulate others. And when we couple this with the Ten of Swords, the Ten of Swords is a card of betrayal for me. Remember that our swords are our house of challenges and difficulty. This is a card that says somebody is making a mountain out of a molehill, making a huge shit show out of something that was never even an issue to begin with, okay? And now that they have been called out or confronted on their role in what this situation is, they will go on the offensive instead of authentically apologizing or changing their ways or reevaluating their priorities and how they go about getting what they want. They will throw an innocent person under the bus. Again, the Seven of Wands, the shit disturber, they thrive on separating people and from bullying others. So if you are having a toxic environment or you recognize this behavior in someone around you, you shut that shit right down. You shut that shit right down. If you have appropriate channels to deal with it at work, if you are truly supported by your next level of management, I strongly suggest that you get your thoughts together and perhaps speak to some other employees that you can trust that maybe have been experiencing this situation as well. Get this handled. The longer you let people like this go, the better they get at screwing everybody over and blaming someone else. Nobody deserves that. All right, you don't deserve that. Get this handled. The Justice card is exactly what that sounds like. All right, this is not fair. This is not equitable. Use your appropriate channels to get this situation resolved and to get this person out of your sphere of influence. Okay, now let's talk about the Justice card. Justice card is all things resolution of conflict. This is all things legal, all things justice system, executive branch, all of that. The iconography of the scales, of course, is about balance and equality, equity. And the sword, while in our house of swords would represent challenges and difficulties, in this regard, it represents the logical, linear, rational mind. Justice isn't a matter of emotional opinion. Justice must be supported with demonstrable facts and intent. So get your ducks in a row, get your information together in a professional manner if you are dealing with this bully at work, and present your case unemotionally, okay? Because there's no room for emotion here. And do this. And if this is someone that you are about to cut and clear out of your life because of this behavior. That sword is a tool that cuts through the bullshit and gets down to the truth. You have seen through this person's bullshit. They are never going to admit the truth of their intentions, but you know what it is. They're a fucking asshole dirtbag. So time for them to go. Let's come over here to the Hermit. You may feel like you are taking on this bully, this challenge alone. Maybe this person has it out for you specifically. Maybe the others that are being victimized just don't have the courage or the strength to stand up the way that you know you are going to stand up. And I will say, I believe last week we had the strength card come in, the courage card come in. Well, here it is. Here it is, my darling. Stand strong. Use your powers of diplomacy and professionalism if you have to state your case in order to get this person removed and the toxic environment that they are creating rectified. All right, but you may find that you are doing this on your own. That Hermit is very solitary energy. It's very inward looking energy. Okay, but the thing about the Hermit is, even though he is taking these steps alone and he is engaged in the introspection that it takes, you know, in order to, I don't know, assimilate, you know, experience with wisdom and a whole bunch of other things, he is lighting that path for the others that will come behind him. So this may indicate that if you have the courage to stand up to this person and to advocate for the change of this situation, you may encourage and empower those who are also being victimized to also stand up and speak their truth. All right, so we've got some difficult personality things happening this week. Like I said, that shit disturber, they ruin it for everybody. They ruin it for everybody. And nobody's here for that. Nobody's here for that. There's absolutely no reason to let it continue. These, you know, victimizing shit disturbers, these are the bullies. This is the mean girl club, you know, the bitches who really never matured past the 10th grade. Right. Yeah. Ain't nobody got time for that shit. Get it handled, give them the boot, and move on to better things coming up. Right. That seems to be all for now. I give my thanks to all who lovingly sat with me today. May we have the good sense to pay attention to what we have been shown and to remember that we are loved and supported. Fergus, please close the door until next time. Please like, share, and subscribe, and visit BrookeReadsTarot.com to book your own session. Make it a good week, my seeker, and remember, the light at the end of the tunnel is probably you. Until next time, my darling.